Long ago, in a quiet little village nestled between green hills and golden fields, lived two farmers. They were neighbors, friends, and shared something else in common. They were both very poor. From sunrise to sunset, both men worked their small plots of land. Their hands were rough, their backs bent, and their clothes patched and worn. They tilled the soil, planted seeds, and prayed for rain. Life wasn't easy, but they endured it in their own ways. One day, both farmers, let's call them Ravi and Kavi, grew old and passed away. Strangely, they both left the world on the very same day. Their souls rose up, and soon they stood before a magnificent golden gate, bathed in light, and waiting for them was God. God smiled gently and said, "Tell me, what was missing from your life?" Ravi, the first farmer, stepped forward. His face twisted with frustration as he spoke. "Oh, God, my life was miserable. Every single day I sweated in the fields like an ox, and for what? Barely enough to feed my family. I never had good clothes, never enjoyed fine things like others did. My hands were always empty. It was a life no better than an animal's." God nodded patiently and asked, "So, what do you wish for in your next life?" Without hesitation, Ravi declared, "I want to receive. That's it. I don't ever want to give anything to anyone. Just let me receive from everyone, all the time." God's eyes gleamed knowingly. "As you wish," he said. And with that, Ravi's soul was sent on its way. Then God turned to Kavi, the second farmer. "And you?" God asked softly, "What was lacking in your life?" Kavi folded his hands, bowing respectfully. His voice was calm but carried deep emotion. "Oh, God, you gave me so much, a loving family, enough land to work hard and earn an honest living. For that, I am forever grateful, but there's something I regret." God listened closely. "Sometimes," Kavi continued, "travelers came to my door hungry, thirsty, tired. I gave them water, but I had no food to offer. I watched them walk away still hungry, and that sorrow has never left me." There was a long pause. Then God asked gently, "What do you wish for in your next life?" Kavi's eyes brightened with hope. "Please, God, grant me the ability to give. I want to give so much that no one will ever leave my door hungry or thirsty again." God smiled warmly. "So be it," he said. And Kavi, too, was sent on his way. As fate would have it, Ravi and Kavi were born again in the very same village. They grew up together, just like before. But this time, something was different, very different. Ravi, who had wished to only receive from others and never give, became a beggar. Every day, he sat by the roadside, hands stretched out. People dropped coins into his bowl, gave him leftover food, old clothes he received from everyone he met. And sure, at first, it wasn't so bad, but as time passed, he realized something. Though he was always receiving, he was always in need. No matter how much he got, it was never enough. His belly was never quite full. His clothes were never quite warm, and his heart, it felt empty. Meanwhile, Kavi's life blossomed. He became the richest man in the village, not through greed, but generosity. His home was always open. Travelers were welcomed with warm meals. Neighbors in need found clothes, medicine, kindness. No one ever left his door hungry or hopeless. And the more he gave, the more blessings seemed to pour into his life. His fields grew golden with crops. His barns overflowed, but more than that, his heart was full, and the village, it loved him dearly. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, "Wait, how did this happen?" Well, here's the secret. Life has a funny way of reflecting what's inside of us. Ravi thought only about himself, what he lacked, what he deserved, and even when he got his wish to only receive, he ended up with a life of endless wanting. Kavi, on the other hand, was grateful. He didn't focus on what he lacked, but on how he could help, and in giving to others, he gained more than he could have imagined. You see, Life is like a mirror. It gives back what we put into it. If we give kindness, love, and generosity, the world reflects it back often multiplied. But if we live in greed and selfishness, well, we end up feeling empty, no matter how much we take. The story of Ravi and Kavi isn't just an old village tale. It's about us. Every day, we get to choose. Do we focus on what we're missing, or do we give thanks for what we have and find ways to share it? True wealth isn't measured by what's in your wallet, but by what's in your heart. The happiest people aren't the ones who have everything. They're the ones who give everything they can, whether it's a smile, a helping hand, or just time to listen.